This 1930s bed setup stayed warm even below freezing, and it relied on layered heat control, not luxury. People in the 1930s did not rely on central heating to get through winter nights. In many homes, bedrooms were unheated, or only indirectly warmed for a short time before bed. Yet freezing nights were endured without modern duvets, electric blankets, or thermal fabrics. What kept people warm was a deliberate bed system designed to trap body heat, block upward cold, and control airflow. This setup was practical, repeatable, and based on materials almost every household already had. The mattress itself was part of the insulation system, not just something to sleep on. A 1930s mattress was rarely foam or spring only. Many were stuffed with horsehair, straw, cotton flock, or wool, all materials with excellent insulating properties. These mattresses were thick, dense, and breathable. Cold floors were common, so the mattress was expected to act as a thermal barrier. Often it sat on a rope bed, slatted frame, or thick wooden base, which allowed air circulation beneath while preventing direct contact with freezing floorboards. So, in practical terms today, this means you really want to avoid using thin mattresses right on top of cold surfaces. Even now, putting your bed on a raised wooden frame and sticking with a dense natural fill mattress can make a world of difference, dramatically cutting down on heat loss from underneath. And, well, if you live in a cold climate or maybe an older house, just doing this one thing can totally change how warm your bed feels through the night. The bottom layers, they were really meant to stop heat loss before you even started thinking about adding warmth. The first layers above the mattress weren't about comfort, but all about holding in that heat. Folks would usually put a heavy wool underblanket or maybe a folded wool blanket right on top of the mattress. Wool was picked for a reason. It keeps on insulating even when it's pressed down, and it'll still trap heat if it happens to get a little damp. Pretty clever, really. This layer prevented body heat from being absorbed by the mattress itself. In modern application, a wool mattress pad or folded wool blanket serves the same role. Synthetic mattress toppers focus on softness, but wool focuses on thermal stability. This is why people sleeping in unheated rooms today often notice immediate warmth when replacing foam toppers with wool. The sheet layer was thin by design and worked as a moisture barrier. Cotton or linen sheets were used, not for warmth, but to manage moisture and prevent sweat from soaking into the insulating layers. Breathability mattered more than thickness. Trapped moisture equals lost heat, something people understood through experience rather than science. Today, this explains why heavy synthetic sheets often feel cold after a few hours. Using breathable cotton or linen sheets allows body moisture to pass through without collapsing the insulation beneath. The real warmth came from multiple blankets, each with a specific role. The 1930s bed never relied on one thick blanket. It used several medium-weight wool blankets layered deliberately. The first blanket rested close to the body, capturing immediate heat. The next created air pockets between fibers, and the top blanket reduced convective heat loss by slowing air movement. Layering mattered more than total weight. 2 or 3 wool blankets trapped more warmth than one heavy one. This principle still applies. If you stack multiple natural fiber blankets instead of a single modern duvet, you gain adjustable warmth and better heat retention. So weight was intentional and, it really helped reduce heat loss. Beds from back then were quite a bit heavier than what we're used to today. The combined weight of all those blankets gently pressed the layers together, which cut down on drafts and kept that warm air from escaping. This kind of pressure also meant your body didn't move air around as much under the covers, which helped keep a steady, comfortable little microclimate. Weighted blankets these days, they sort of recreate this same effect, but folks in the 1930s just did it naturally. Using heavier top layers in winter instead of those light, fluffy duvets is actually a lot closer to how people really stayed warm back then. Most often, the final layer was a thick woven blanket, or maybe a quilted coverlet. Its main job wasn't really warmth, but more about stopping drafts. Bedrooms could get pretty drafty, and this top layer acted like a windbreak over all the insulating layers underneath. In modern homes, this idea translates to using a tightly woven blanket or even a heavy cotton cover on top of your insulating layers, especially if you've got a room with poor insulation or, say, some leaky windows. Bed placement in the room mattered as much as the bedding. Beds were positioned away from exterior walls when possible and never directly under windows. Folks understood that cold radiated inward overnight. Headboards were solid wood or upholstered, blocking cold air from settling around the sleeper's upper body. If you apply this today, simply moving a bed a foot away from an exterior wall or placing a thick textile behind the headboard can noticeably improve warmth without changing bedding at all. Hot bricks and bottles were supplemental, not central. While hot water bottles and heated bricks were used, they were meant to pre-warm the bed, not maintain warmth all night. The bedding system itself did the real work. This distinction matters. Relying on external heat without insulation leads to rapid heat loss once the source cools. Modern equivalents like heated mattress pads work best when combined with proper layering, not as replacements for it. The 1930s bed setup was based on controlling heat loss rather than generating heat. That principle never changed. By focusing on insulation from below, layered breathable materials, controlled weight, and draft prevention, people slept warm even in freezing conditions. If you live off-grid, in an older house, or simply want resilience during winter outages, this system remains relevant. Replace synthetics with wool, layer deliberately, raise your bed, block drafts, and think in systems rather than products. If you found this breakdown useful and want more historically grounded survival knowledge that actually works, subscribe to Living Through the Seasons. Share this guide with anyone interested in traditional living skills that still hold up today.